Let me see if we've got audio. Audio. Testing, 1, 2, 3. I think we're up and running.
No, mine isn't.
Is it not? Are you refreshed though? Ah, here we go, look. Welcome back to yet another Ben's Garage Christmas special live stream. Got my Christmas jumper on, got my Christmas lid. I think we're all working. Audio's looking good. I'll wait for a few more of you to come in. I did advertise it starting at 1900 hours GMT, so that's 8 o'clock in France. Says we've got 3 viewers, so there's 3 of you in here.
Mine says 1.
Eh?
Mine says 1.
Oh, well. But yes, another Christmas live stream. How many of you today watching today came last year? Did get a little bit drunk last year. Planning not to do that this time. Well, we're down to 1 viewer now. So I shall just talk random nonsense until a few more people come in.
Well, carry on then.
Oh, I don't know what to say now. You watch it, but nobody will come in tonight, so I'll have to sit here and eat my pork pie all on my own.
That'd be a killer.
For anyone that is in here, talk about pucker ding. It's not a pucker pie, it's a homemade hobbit pie. No hobbits are in this pie.
Just gonna say.
But the hobbit made me a homemade pork pie. Got a nice bit of, I nearly called it mayonnaise, but it's not, it's Coleman's mustard. That's going to go on top of it as well. Last year, Christmas live stream, I did a bit of a cheese and wine thing, but I thought, well, this year, the cheese and wine's a bit of a sore subject, isn't it? For anyone who follows politics. That's not the reason. I was as rough as arseholes last time. I had quite a lot of cheese, quite a lot of wine, and I spent quite a lot of the night up. You don't want to know what was happening. But so I'm going to crack open a beer. And there's 1 viewer, and that's probably one of us.
Mine says 3.
Does it? Oh, this is. Let me just refresh the chat.
There you go.
Ah. Oh, come back. What's going on here?
Mine's still there.
Hello from South Wales. Greetings, South Wales. Bottoms up. Oh, 4 viewers now. So yes, last year's Christmas live stream was a little bit ooh la la. I haven't watched it back, but I think as the night went on, I was obviously slurring my words more and more. And I think I only had 1 bottle of wine though, didn't I?
Yeah, but you'd had nothing to
Yeah,
beforehand.
1 bottle of wine, but on an empty stomach, which isn't a good combination. So this year's Christmas live stream, we're going to stick to beer
And you've eaten.
and a pork pie with some mustard. And we've already had a big lunch today. We had an executive lunch today with the Hobbit's employers. The Hobbit is the employee. I've only had 1 beer. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, they came round for lunch. So I did a bit of a Chinese, and the Hobbit made a big cake. So I have eaten already today, whereas last year I hadn't eaten anything, and it was a bit of a disaster. But tonight I thought we'll do something a bit special. I'm going to build an engine right here on this very table. The engine is in that box, but they tell me that it does run. More of that later on. Not too much later, but yeah, beer and pork pie. It's a 2 thumbs up from us. And of course, you've got to have a bit of mustard on it. Now, obviously, in France, you don't get Coleman's mustard. They have Dijon mustard and that. The Dijon mustard that the Hobbit gets from at the supermarket is actually quite strong, but it's not quite Coleman's mustard. So we'll crack on with that in a bit. I just thought I'd let a few more people join the room. We have got the Christmas tree up over there, but that's about it for this year. We're not going mad decorating the house. We've been doing a lot of work actually in the kitchen. Got my island here with my nice hob, wheelchair level, which is good and it's bad. It's good because I can use it, but it's bad. That means I've got to do more cooking.
Flipping things so no.
But anyway,
Keep your own stuff clean as well.
getting back chat from the Hobbit here. I don't know if the microphone's picking that up. So yeah, we've got the island in. I've done all the kickboards around all the cupboards. So when the dogs come in, well, only one dog plays with balls. She chucks them on the floor, and they used to roll underneath the cupboards. Now the kickboards are on, they don't do that. So that we've got bloody tennis balls all over the floor. Got all the tiling done. You can't really tell, but behind me there's tiling, and I've done the grouting. I've done the silicone between the tiles and the worktop. So we have been quite busy.
Plus I've been working.
Plus the Hobbit's been working. But I think that's all we've done in the kitchen. I've got the pot rack up. You won't be able to see that. But if anyone's interested in what we get up to...
Put all the signs up.
Oh yeah. What we get up to outside of Ben's garage. I put most of the stuff over on the other channel, the Mad Dog Farm. If anyone's interested. I know a lot of you do go over there and have a look at some of the videos we do. But I will do a bit of an update on what we've been doing in the kitchen. So that's nearly one room of the house finished. The bathroom's almost finished. There's a little touching up to do in the bathroom. Still. So we've got my office, the bedroom, and that room through there. And then at some point we want to knock through into the barn and have a little bit more space in this room. Because we don't have a living room or anything like that. I go and watch TV in my office, and it's not TV, it's excuse me, just Netflix and Amazon and YouTube. We don't have terrestrial television, so yeah. Right, I'm going to crack into this pork pie. I think. Look at that. Let me cut it open and we'll have a look. Cool. Bugger, it's hard.
I could put a brick in it.
Shit. There we go, look. Nice bit of pork pie. I do like a pork pie. You can't get them in France. They do something that's similar to a pork pie. It's got like the water pastry, but they fill it with like, it's some kind of meat, but it's like really gristly and horrible. So I tend not to, well I have had them, but now that the Hobbit makes a nice homemade pork pie, I prefer the homemade version. But it's the French, they do eat some weird stuff. Cool.
So do you by the look of it.
It's just the pastry's just got a bit hard where it's been in the fridge, I think.
Yeah, you should put it on.
Oh dear.
On the plate.
So there we go. We're all chopped up and ready to go. Now the important ingredient, a bit of Coleman's mustard. Or any mustard really. Smear it on. You want to be able to taste it, don't you? Oh, look at that. Ooh. Let's try this. I can't talk with my mouth full because it's rude. Wash it down with a beer. There's nothing finer than a pork pie and a beer. So, cheers. Merry Christmas. Quiet Christmas for us this year. Just me and the Hobbit. Or should I say the Hobbit and I. And the two mutts. Who look really interested. We've got one over here on the sofa. I suppose the other one's in bed.
Yep.
But yeah, so the old dears are over in the UK for Christmas. So yeah, we're having a nice quiet one. But we might all be locked down by then anyway, so it'll have to be a quiet one. But we won't go into that one tonight. This is a jolly live stream. I'm going to leave it a little bit longer because I don't want to start making this engine until we get a few more people in. Well, I'll leave it and see if a few more people come in. So what's been happening at Ben's garage?
Nothing. The panda's still not fixed.
Not. Oh. The panda's still not fixed. Anyway, the panda's still in the garage. We sold the old Range Rover. We fixed the new Range Rover. The Hobbit's been working. Yeah, so the new Range Rover, we put a new battery on it. That seems to have fixed that. So I think it was my error when we fitted a new battery last time. Been trying to be clever. I thought I want to put the biggest battery on that I can fit, the most amp hours. Excuse me. Pardon me. Flipping heck. Gaseosa. Yeah, I wanted to put the biggest battery on it that I could fit in the hole. We did that, and it lasted about a year and a half. So it was all like, I thought, shit, the bloody alternator's gone or something. But then doing a bit of research, I mean, I'd found after that I fitted that other battery that we should have put an AGM battery on it. The battery that was on the car was an AGM. That was branded a Land Rover, made by Varta. So I'm assuming that was probably the original battery. So me being clever, I thought I'd fit the biggest one, and it lasted a year and a half. So I thought, well, rather than worrying about if it's the alternator or not, because we couldn't get it started, we tried jump starting it and all sorts. So I thought, sod it, just order a proper AGM battery. So it was a Varta G14 for anyone who's interested, and fitted it on. Started up first time. I went in with the gap tool, told the ECU that a new battery has been fitted, and it did all its thing. Now on the 3.6 TDVA, you can't tell it what battery you've put on, whereas I think on the 4.4 you can specify. There's a drop down menu, and you can match up the drop down menu to the battery you've just fitted. You can't do that on the 3.6. So, but the ECU has been told it's a new battery, and it's been working fine. Touch wood. But I've got to do a service on it, and I've got to do the brakes. So that'll be a few videos coming up. I don't think I'm going to be putting any videos out now until the new year. I might do a bit of a recap video of what we've done over this last year. Might put edit one of those up. But yeah, we've got a lot of work to do before Christmas. The Hobbit has sourced some what they call palaxes, which what is that from an apple factory?
Yeah, it's Lindor, which is the apple crate.
Big apple crates they're like pallets, but with a big box on them.
Bloody good.
They're about 70 centimetres, 80 centimetres high.
Something like
They're
that.
about 80 centimetres high. Solid wood, and they're all bolted together. €15 each, so we got 10. And we're going to have them out in the garden, and we're going to do hugel culture, where we put big sort of tree trunks in the bottom, and as you come up the layer, you go smaller and smaller. So you've got tree trunks, branches, twigs, leaves and stuff, compost on top, and then that'll be at a nice height for me to do the garden, you know, a bit of weeding and stuff outside. So the Hobbit sauce, we've got 10 of those set out there, so we've got to move all them about, and we've got some rotivating to do because the Hobbit wants to get some garlic in. What else do we do? I need to dig a trench to sink the solar cables under the ground.
Potatoes ready, so
We need to, yeah, we need to get the bed done ready for the potatoes. So we have got a lot of work to do, and we've got a fortnight of really nice weather, which we haven't had. It has been absolutely crap weather, rain and God knows what. But so that's our plan for the next week or so. Oh, it's only 10 days till bleeding Christmas, isn't it? And not a lot will be getting done then, because I like a bit of Christmas, me. I'm a big kid. So yeah, we've got a couple of Christmassy films to watch, and we've got the Christmas CDs all out. But yeah, we only just put the tree up today. We've been slacking a bit this year because we normally, it sort of gets to December and it's like, oh, should we put the tree up? Yeah, let's put the tree up. But of course, this year we've only just put it up today, which is a bit late for us, but it's up. So at least there's somewhere that the Hobbit can put my presents underneath.
What presents?
The presents that you've got to wrap.
Oh, it's only a couple. I got you a thimble and a needle.
So yeah, the solar, we've got the cables all in a nice conduit. It's just like a bit of pipe that you put in the ground. So that at the minute it's just trailing across the floor. So I need to get on the digger, dig all that out, get that sunk in the ground, and get it. It's in the house. The solar system's all up and running at the moment. If you've been watching our videos, we was struggling a little bit because there was no sun. You do get some power coming into the house when it's cloudy, but it's very limited. We were sort of getting like 200 to 300 watts, which wasn't enough to really charge the batteries up. So it was switching to grid more often than not. Batteries got drained right down, and rather than just keep sort of draining your batteries, charging it a little bit, drain it, charge a little bit, it's quite intelligent, the inverter. So oh, we've got Roy's the boy on Conga. So yeah, so that was all good stuff. But since we've had 3 days of sun,
Yeah.
3 days of sun, the first day of sun, it charged the batteries from 16% to 100% in 5 hours. And that's with using power as well, because at the moment I've only got 3 circuits on the solar. We've got the outside sockets, my oven, and the fridge and freezer. That's it. So I've got the inverter set for solar priority, so it powers everything with solar first, then it uses the batteries, and then once they're depleted it goes to grid. So if you've got a load on the solar system, the solar panels will power that load first. If the solar panels don't generate enough power, it will pull it out of the batteries. But if you say the fridge cuts in and it's 150 watts and we've got 600 watts coming in, that extra goes straight to your batteries. So it does work quite well. Yesterday we was doing quite a bit with the oven, so if you do it during the day when the sun's out, it's ideal. So you sort of, because we've only got, if we add up our solar panels, we've got 2,200 watts. Now you'll never get that, but I have seen just over 2,000 watts come out of those panels. But like the oven, when you switch that on high, that pulls 2.8 kilowatts. Of course, you're not getting enough solar for that, so it pulls a bit out of the battery as well. So yesterday the sun was out and it was pulling it out of the battery. And but once we finished with the oven, switch that off, the solar, it charged the batteries up to 100%. Now the Hobbit has had the dehydrator going outside because she dehydrates kidneys for the dogs. You know, she cuts them into slices, dehydrates them, and they're like little treats. So that's running. When that cuts in on the heat, that goes up to 600 watts. But last night, we was at 100% on the batteries overnight with the boiler, the fridge and freezer and everything. That pulled the batteries and the dehydrator. What that was 30?
31.
That pulled the batteries down to 31% overnight. So I've got it set so that it goes to grid when the batteries hit 20%. So the first night it actually did that. It pulled it down past 20%, so it goes back to grid. And then good evening, Edward. So yeah, it's working quite well. So I think we decided our next purchase will be another battery, because it's the storage that we need rather than the more. We will get more panels, but yeah, I'm gonna have another bit of pork pie. Storage first, because if we can charge the batteries up in 5 hours, obviously it'll take a bit longer if we've got another battery, but it's the storage we need. Look at that, pork pie. Cheers. Merry Christmas. So yeah, that's the solar system. What else we've been doing? Not a lot really. Trying to think. I should have written a list. Can't think what we have been doing.
Well, I mean, you've got out and done stuff in the garden and that while I've been at work. Because I worked all summer and...
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to think of recent stuff, but I've not really been doing much because I've been working on the house and that. Trying to get some jobs done. But it's nice to have the kitchen almost done, ready for Christmas. Well, this pork pie is very nice.
Two more in there.
Yeah. Just popped in to have a nosy. Well, at some point I'm going to get this engine on the table and we'll start building it. I'll give you a little teaser. It's in this box. Oh, 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 wait. I'll give you a bit more of a teaser. I thought it'd be interesting if we'd have a little project on our little live stream. Now it doesn't come this colour. I've already done a bit of painting. That's the base. Goes in there. With a little cylinder. Goes like that. Yeah, I think that's right. So if you know, you know. This is a Stirling engine. So I'm going to put that together in a minute and we'll see if we can get it running. So yeah, I painted this green. It's all just shiny metal. And I saw somebody on YouTube actually had done this. They painted it Brunswick green. They painted the flywheel red on the inside. And we painted the cylinder black. Now I would go on to explain how a Stirling engine works. Roy as the boy might be able to tell you. I'm not going to get all scientific, but it's got a hot piston and a cold piston, and it does something, and they're connected up, and one does something to the other, and it runs the engine basically. This is just a basic one. It was €25 off. Can't remember it. Oh, it's enginediy.com or something like that. So I'm going to put that together in a minute. I'm just going to have a bit more pork pie, because it's good to have pork pie. Now what is worrying me is there's lots of little bits with my fat fingers. So I've got this the magnifying glass is for the instructions. On one side it's lovely, on that side, oh my word. I know I've got glasses on, but you know, it's still so small. So I've got the Hobbit's toolkit, I've got my little watchmaker's toolkit here, and I've got another magnifying glass. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes, won't we? So, how many of you here now came to last year's Christmas live stream? I haven't watched it back, but I do remember the event, just about. Got a little bit drunk. We're not going to do that this year. Although I've got a beer, but we have got a bit of cake somewhere, and the Hobbit made cookies as well today, so we'll have to maybe a bit later on. But yeah, so the Panda's still in the garage. I've got to get back out there and get onto that. I've pulled the drive shaft out and it dumped all the bloody oil all over the garage floor. I should have known better, really. Anyway, I had to change the gear oil anyway, so that was just a quick way of getting it out. So the drive shaft's still out. I've got a new drive shaft gaiter to put on the gearbox. I was just waiting for some new clips. And the way it is on the Fiat gearbox, I didn't want to use just cable ties. So I've got some of those metal cable ties that you pull through the thing and you can hit it. That should be a bit more of a tighter seal, because obviously on the 4x4 Panda, and probably an ordinary Panda, they're the same, because the only difference is on the 4x4 Panda, they got like a PTO shaft comes out the back. And between the seats you've got a handle that you just pull up, and that engages your four-wheel drive. Well, all it does is it engages something on the back of the gearbox, and it engages the PTO type thing, sends power down the drive shaft or the prop shaft to the rear axle. It's quite a basic system. The 4x4 system on a Fiat Panda is made by Steyr Pooch or whatever, something like that. So it's quite basic. But the way that the drive shaft's in the gearbox, it's just got like a universal joint, and it's sort of in and out. So it's putting a little bit of tension on your drive shaft gaiter. So I didn't want to just put cable tie on it, because I thought, no, my luck, it's just going to pop off while the Hobbit's driving it, and it's going to chuck all its oil out all over the floor. So I ordered some of these clips, and I've got them now, but we've been doing other jobs at the moment. So I'll get all that put back in the gearbox, get all that suspension put back together, and that's almost the front of the car done. So that's new suspension throughout. So that's springs, struts, ball joints, lower arm, brand new steering rack, new brakes, discs, pads, calipers, brake hoses, I've already done the cam belt, I've done the water pump. What else have we done? That's pretty much, oh, new headlights. So once I get the drive shaft back in and all that bolted up, bleed out the front brakes, we can drive it out of the garage, turn it round and drive it in the other way so I can do all the back. Because on the back we've got a pair of leaf springs, shock absorbers and brakes. New shoes, cylinders, new drums, handbrake linkages. So once that's done, it'll be like a brand new car. Well, hopefully anyway. And it is polishing up quite nice. I did give it a little bit of a polish on the front because I thought it had a really bad paint job on it, because it had all gone really rough and horrible. But on further inspection, I'll give it a bit of a polish and it all buffed up really nice. So we just got to keep on top of. It's been sat out. I mean, since we've had it, I think we had it sort of parked up for about a year while we was getting other bits and pieces done. And so yeah, it's taking its time. But we will get there because the Hobbit wants to start using it, and it won't take a lot. I've got to put all the steering back together on the inside because I've had all the steering column out when I did the steering rack. Put a brand new steering rack on it, so all the steering column's out, steering wheel and everything. So all that's got to go back in, but that's easy. The good thing is with the Fiat Panda is they're so basic. Some parts are a little bit awkward to get to because it's quite small, isn't it? It's compact, like the back of the gearbox. I've got to reconnect the selector rod, and there's where the 4x4 selector, there's like a giant nipple that sits up, and the rod sort of goes over it, and I'm pretty sure that should be a grommet or something on there that it just pops on, but there's nothing there and it just sort of rattles about. It does operate it sort of just pushes it backwards and forwards, but it's metal on metal and I don't quite like that, so that's something else I've got to have a look at. But yeah, we'll get there. I'm still trying to. Well, we've got all the cabling. We've got to run the cable but down into the house so we can have electric in the garage. That's the one thing that's. Once I've got electric up there, it'd be ideal because I can just plug the heater in. You know, get up there and plug the heater in. At the minute, I've got to go up there, fire up the generator. Generator's got to run all the time the heater's running, and if I'm trying to film something, it's not ideal. So that's the plan. So I'm gonna have one more bit of pork pie, and then we'll see about starting this engine. Doesn't look like there's many more people coming in, so I did put out a community post a while ago, and I put one out the other day saying about we're doing a live stream. But oh, people do other things, don't they? Chew your food, dear boy, chew your food. Oh dear. Gotta love a nice homemade pork pie. Last piece. That was very nice. Cool. Pastry takes some pushing down. when the Hobbit comes back through, I'll get her to tip the camera down, and we'll see what we're doing on the table. I'll start laying some bits out. Don't really know what I'm doing, but you'll get the idea. Even comes with some little tools. I've got a little bit of oil here, just in case I need it, because there's obviously moving parts. Some of these screws are so small. Now I've got some oil. I've just brought some gun oil in from the other room because I mean, if you probably know, but I've got the other channel. Excuse me a minute. Pardon me. Got the other channel, Mad Dog Air Guns, so I do quite a bit with air guns and stuff like that, tuning them up and bits and pieces. So I've got some gun oil in the other room, and I brought that through. But when the Hobbit's ready, I'll ask her to come and turn the camera down, because it means I've got myself set here a little bit, so I've got to get round there to do it. Oh. Could you operate the camera for me, please, the Hobbit? Could you just slacken that knob and tilt it down? Oh no. Fucking hell. Down, please. Keep going. Keep going. That'll do. Right, can you lock it off at that, please? And just turn that screen that way a little bit. Oh, too much. Back it this way a little bit more. That's it. Perfect. Thank you very much, the Hobbit. So here we go, look. That's the base. So I'm looking at the instructions here. We're going to need, with my magnifying glass, the M6 hex, which is, come on, where are you? M3, M4, M3, M3. Oh dear. Not starting off very well at all. No. I'm trying to look at the bits I've got here. Oh dear, come on, I can't even open this. Here we go. Oh, this is hard work. And that's just getting the bag open. What we're going to do when we get to the actual building of it. Oh, I want to keep them. Don't lose them. Don't lose them. Come on. Out you come. Oh, I can't get that out. What's going on here? Let's rip the bag open. Oh, easier said than done. Hey, no, no, dogs. Get your nose off my pork pie. Little shit. Go on lie down. This is the reason we call it the Mad Dog Farm. Couple of bleeding numpties. Right, so we're getting these bags open with lots of parts. We're down to 2 viewers by the looks of things. Can't wait all night. I did say I was going to build an engine right before your very eyes, but I'm not telling fibs. Christ, look how small these bits are. Just as well I've got some tweezers, isn't it? Last bag. Oh. Ah, those ones must be the M6s. So M6, M6. Ooh. Anyway, so first thing is I'm going to put this little gasket in there, like so. That's where your fuel's going to go. Now there is a little hole for the fuel, but then we have to have the wick goes through that as well. So see if I can put that through there and then pull it through. Come on. Come on, get in there. Come on, you can do it. No. Let me see if I can zoom you in a little bit. Well, what engine is it? They call it a Stirling engine. All will become apparent, apparently, when we get it built. So that's the wick, which I'm assuming just needs to go in like that, and that goes in the bottom there. And then that goes in there. Oh. Well, my fingers are a bit big for this job, so we could be here some time. Comes with Allen keys. So that's the first bit. Now we need to put that onto there. I don't think I'd be very good at model railways and stuff like that. That would not be my forte, I don't think. Now, I did look up Stirling engines to sort of get a basic idea of how they work. But you've got two pistons, or two cylinders. So you've got your hot cylinder, which is going to have a little flame on that. And you've got your cold cylinder. And they're joined up somehow. There's a bit of pipe there, so I'm assuming it joins on somewhere. Anyway, so we'll look at the next stage. So I think I want that piece, and a little grub screw. So that's that. Is that it? Or is it? Or is it that? That might be that actually. I don't know what that bit is. Oh yeah, sorry, the Range Rover. The Range Rover is working quite well actually at the moment. Now that I've put the correct battery in it. So that goes in there. Oh, hang on. No. Goes in that way. There's a little slot in the end of it. That's got to come out. Oh, these bits are so small. Small axle, bearings. Oh. It's got to be that piece, isn't it? Oh dear. I can't hardly see it. I think I'm doing it right. So that goes in there like that. Just nip that up. So now that goes in there. Look at that. Ah, there is a bit of a flare on that. So there is a slight flare on that piece. So that goes through there like that. Oh, and straight through by the looks of it. Huh. Oh well. Anyway, so that goes on there. And I'll take it. So these might be spare bits. What is that? Yeah, I think they're spares. So I think that goes down on there. Well, that must go inside, I reckon. That goes in there. Then that goes on. And then that goes on. Come on. And then 4 of those go in the end here. Here's what you call fiddly. I'm doing a sterling job, thank you very much. A little bit sad to see the TD6 go because, sorry, I'm not keeping up with comments because I was concentrating. I can't do 2 things at once. Yeah, the TD6 did us proud. We moved house with it. It towed the trailer quite nicely when we was moving and all that kind of thing. It has been good. It did have its problems, but even though it had its problems, it carried on going. But it's found a new home now. So I shall tighten these up diagonally so as to put it down square. So yeah, it was sad to see it go, only because we'd been through a bit together. Us and the old TD6. So now that should go in and out like that. Oh look. We'll get back to that shortly. So that's tightened up quite nicely now. Next thing is the wheel. So we want the bearings. We'll turn it round for this. So there's a bearing that goes in either side of this, like so. Of course, being as I've painted it, it's a bit of a tight fit. But it's in there. That's your axle shaft. Oh shit. I've just pushed that in there. No, that's alright, it comes back out again. So that's your axle shaft, goes all the way. There's a flat on it. Where's the flat go? Flat goes through there. And the wheel goes on there. Of course, I've painted it, haven't I? Yeah, look, lump of paint's just come out, so that'll be alright. Let's get it moving nicely. It's alright because it doesn't actually yeah, goes through there like that. Apparently a little grub screw goes down through there. Tyres on the TDV8, we have got Continental Continental something. Here we go. Look, I can't really start that in the threads now because there's a paint. Perhaps that wasn't such a good idea. Oh, here we go. No, I can't do that. Yeah, Continental all season on the TDV8. They're good tyres, but they're not great for off-roading. As one of my videos will attest. On slippery grass, they're not brilliant. Just nip that up. So that's nipped up onto there. Look at that. Whee! You're a fighter. Right.
Just quickly, did you say you want cake?
Maybe a bit later on. I ain't finished my pork pie yet.
So it's in the microwave.
Yeah, alright. So that's the grub screw in there. Next, we've got this piece, which goes on here. Now this is a pulley, which you can actually put an elastic band on it or something to drive something. So once it's running, you can actually power something with it. You know, whether it's a little generator or something. I don't suppose it's going to be very high powered, this engine. Not many horsepowers. So that's going to go on there like so. I'm going to just put this grub screw in there first. Yeah, they're 20-inch tyres on the TDV8. I think that was an option when the car was new. Thank you very much, The Hobbit. I'll turn this round so you can see what I'm doing. So there's a little flat on there. Look at that! Right, what's next on the list? A tetrafluoron gasket. A tetrafluoron gasket. I think that's these things. These tiny little gaskets. Christ, I can hardly pick that up. Oh. Can't do this with big hands. Put one on the other side. So we've got a tetrafluoron gasket on both of these pins. So now I need to take that and that There's a pin through that already. I'll push that out. Ah, here we go, look. So there's like a little pin through there. So I need to pull that out. So that's like your cold piston. And that's your con rod. I think that's it. So this has got to go in here. Like so. Then that goes on there. So we do the same for this side, where this goes onto this piece.
See you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Oh, come on, I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, gone too far with that. And then that goes onto there. Come on. Right, so it doesn't end there. Small plastic covers. Jesus, what am I supposed to do with this? No, that's dropped. I'm going to have to resort to measures now. I've got some tweezers in here. Oh, where's that gone? Christ. This isn't easy for big-fingered Ben. Well, that's one on. I'll try and get another one on it now. Oh dear. I wouldn't be any good at heart surgery, I don't think. This is probably just as well. I'm glad the surgeon that sorted me out was a little bit better than this. That's that one on. Right. So I've got to put one on there and one on here. I hope you're not getting too bored with this. This is probably the worst bit of the job. Oh, come on. Ah. Come on. Almost there. Right. Let's get a good look at what I'm doing. Ooh. Oh dear. Hey, finally. Right. Last one. I think we should be almost there. That's on. That's on. It's on. Would you look at that? So, what's next? I don't know what that bit's for then. Where would that bit go? Nothing in the instructions. Well, I'll put all these bits to one side. Must just be spares. Nothing was labelled, you see, so it's you've got to sort of have a guess, really. So, fuel goes in here. Now it's 95% alcohol. Whoop. I'm assuming that'll be enough. Right, are you ready for this? It says there's 2 viewers in, so let's get it in a good position. So apparently, I should be able to light it. Light the wick. The wick is on fire. You probably can't see that. I'm just going to let it warm up a little bit. And then I might have to give it a little kick start. Yeah, well, I think it's spares. So that's cooking now. Can you see that flame on there? I don't know how long I'm going to have to leave it, but I think you just give it a little kick start and that'll go. Oh, oh, oh. Look at that. We're running. It's picking up speed. It's taking off. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is speeding up quite a bit. I mean, these engines have been around for years, the principle. And from what research I was doing on YouTube, there is technology where they're going to see if they can utilise the Stirling engine. But that's brilliant. Will it run the other way? No, it won't go the other way. Let's go that way. That is brilliant. It's got a bit of a mind of its own. It's trying to work its way across the table. That is fantastic. There you go, I've blown it out. Not very long at all. But yeah, that is bloody brilliant. Something I've built and it actually works. Needs a bit more heat yet. Yeah, I've blown it out again. Yeah, there's no plug-in diagnostics with this bit of machinery. I can tell you that for nothing. I'll leave that there because I'll show the Hobbit when she comes back in. I'm just going to have to readjust this camera now. Oh, come on. He's back. Yeah. That was bloody brilliant. I've still not got the camera right. I've got to crouch down like this. But yeah, so that's my little effort for this evening. I thought something a little bit different. We'll do something productive. And we built that. And it works. Yeah, you can pick these up on, I think it's enginediy.com, I think they're called. There's loads of kits on there, but some of them are quite expensive. This one was £25, might be less, no, €25. Something as simple as that, a little bit of heat, and that's all it needs. So you've got your hot cylinder and your cold cylinder, and it does something. One pushes the other, and it turns the flywheel, and you can use it for. It's got a little rib on that pulley at the back there, if you can see that. And you can put like an elastic band on like a little motor, or like a little generator or something, and power some LEDs or something. It's just why you would want to, I don't know, but it's like a nice little desk ornament, isn't it? A desk toy. The Hobbit, could you just pull the camera up a little bit, please? Because I did adjust it, but it's a little bit more. That's it. Thank you. Do you want to see this work?
Yeah, go on then.
Right, I have to light it first. Just let it get up to temperature. Christ. Just letting it get up to temperature. Do please excuse me. I'm just. Yeah, I was looking at those Technic Lego things, but they're so bloody expensive. Oh, you ready for this, for the Hobbit?
Yeah.
Oh, a bit more.
Cool. Do those.
You ain't having nothing from me. That's my pork pie. You keep your bloody eyes off. It is good, yeah. So I'll blow that out now. We've had a little fun with Stirling engines. Yeah, there's quite a few different Technic Lego ones, but I thought, I wouldn't mind having a go at doing a bit of that. But they're so expensive. Sort of like, no.
Get my
Meccano.
kit in for the next one.
What, the next Christmas live stream? Also, just do a live stream where I'm building stuff.
Yeah. It is Christmas.
So yeah, we're not as popular tonight on the old live stream. There's not been that many people come in, but I do appreciate the ones that are here. Perhaps it's a bit early. I don't know, but well, it could be a bad day. But so we've had a little bit of fun building our little Stirling engine. I saw it. I thought I had this idea in my head that I was going to build something on the live stream, and I kept looking at different things. There was like, I don't know if you've seen them, like these plastic engines, like you build a V8 engine and it's got like a little electric motor in it and you can see all the pistons going up and down. But even that was about €100. I thought, no, I'm not spending that sort of money just on something for the live stream. But this thing, I thought, oh, that's quite a good little bit of kit. We'll build that. I thought I'd paint it up because it comes in just bare metal and it looks a little bit naff. But I saw someone on YouTube had actually painted it up, and I thought, oh, that's quite tastefully done. So I got some Airfix paints and painted it up. I think you'll agree it's rather nice. But yeah, it's all good stuff, isn't it? Now what I'm planning to do next year is, when we get power up in the garage, is start doing live streams from the garage, because I've got the internet. I've run the internet cable up there so we can hardwire the internet in, and I can do some live streams up in the garage when I get my bench all built. And yeah, we'll do a bit of live streaming up there. I'm using another I do it on my laptop because I normally live stream in my office when I do it all on the Mac. But I thought the Christmas one I'll do it through here again like I did last year. And I have to do it on the laptop. Now I'm not. Last year I was hardwired into the live box, which is like the router. This year I'm doing it all wirelessly, and so far it seems to be working all right. Touch wood. But yeah, so hopefully once we get power up to the garage, when I get all my lights and workbench sorted out, we can. I can start live streaming up there, and we'll do some little projects on the bench and stuff. Just gives the channel another little element, doesn't it? Ben's Garage, fixing all kinds of stuff. Well, we didn't fix something, we assembled something tonight. This stuff is just 95% acetone. Smells like nail varnish remover. It probably is the same stuff. So we've got a litre of that now, so we'll use it for something, washing paintbrushes or something. But I like to get my my trusty watchmaker's toolkit. I've got this watch here. It was sent to me. Some company wanted me to do a review on it, and I said, yeah. I says, hang on. I says, yeah, I'll do a. Oh, we've got some more people coming in. Nice motor, nice motor. Hello, John. Got a new motor. Bugger it, I'm late. Well, you can always watch it back because I ain't building it again. But I will show you what we did build.
How's it going again? It's quite cute.
We built a Stirling engine. And we have fired it up, and it does work, and it is pretty good. I'm quite chuffed with it, to be honest. Now, the Airfix paint that I painted it with is only acrylic, so I don't think it's going to last that long with this 95% alcohol. That probably, although there is a gasket on the tank where you put the fuel, it's feeling a little bit sticky at that end. So, but yeah. What was I saying before that? Got sidetracked, didn't I?
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, company said, "Oh, would you like to review our watch?" I think they thought I was going to review it on the Ben's Garage channel, and because I've got a few different channels for different niches. So we've got Ben's Garage, Mad Dog Air Guns, the Mad Dog Farm, and Ben's Reviews, where I just review whatever we buy or bits and pieces. It's just something for me to do in my spare time. So some I won't say they reached out, they contacted me via email. Says, would you like to have one of our watches? I looked up, and all the reviews will say, oh, what a pile of crap, it's this and it's that. I thought, well, send me one and I'll have a look. But I had to put some extra links in it, so I got a watchmaker's toolkit. It was only cheap off Amazon, and but the watch is actually quite good. I know people say they've just put in crap parts in it, but it's got a Seiko movement in it. I'm not a watch aficionado, so as long as it tells the time and it keeps time, and it, you know, the other functions, it's got the date on it, and it's got this chronograph thing on it, which I don't really understand what all that is about. Because I've got a Seiko watch, one of these Seiko kinetic things that you can leave it and then you just shake and it wakes itself up. The second hand goes round all the time. But on this one, the second hand stays at 12 o'clock until you press the button and it goes round, and then these little dials, and you can see that, and let it focus. Focus. And then these little dials start going round. So I don't really understand all that, but I don't want to watch for gimmicks, I just want to tell the time. And I don't wear it that often. I only had it on today because we had visitors and we poshed ourselves up a little bit.
Gee, I wasn't aware.
It's a Filippo Loretti. So a lot of the things on the internet they was slating them for is because they've gone for an Italian name with Italian. This is a Filippo Loretti Ascari 1951 GP. And it's got a nice embossed thing on the back. I don't know if you've ever seen that on the camera. It's got an Ascari Grand Prix race car embossed in the back of it. So they're getting slated because the actual company is based in Lithuania, so nowhere near Italy. And they're probably made in China. But if they want to send me stuff for free, I think they was expecting me to put it on the Ben's Garage channel because that's where I've got a lot of subscribers. But I didn't. I put it on... Well, in fact, they asked me, have you put a review out yet? And I just sent them my Instagram post where I put it on there. And they was happy with that. I wouldn't ever buy one because they're quite expensive. And they're not, according to the experts, they're not great. But I'm not one for snobbery. As you probably know, watching this channel. I can't get this done up now. Where's the zip gone?
Probably on the inside.
It's gone. It's gone too far in. What happened to my legs? Nothing's happened to my legs. I've still got them. But they don't bloody work. Well, they do work. It's a long story. I did do... Was it on this channel I did a video on it?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I did do a video on how I ended up in a wheelchair. I will give you a brief rundown why my legs don't work. 2016, April. Woke up in the morning. Oh, on the computer, pain straight down here. Hobbit was just about to go out of the house. I said, oh, hang on a minute, I don't feel quite right. Next thing we know, there's an ambulance crew in the room. Whisked me off to hospital. Chucked me in a scanner. Airlifted me to Bordeaux.
Missed that bit.
Eh?
You missed that
Yeah,
bit.
well, I woke up when the ambulance crew was in the house because they was trying to get me to take a pill. Then I sort of remember being stuck in the CT scanner, and I remember the doctor crawling in and pushing my shoulders in because I'm not a small person. So I must have just sort of flopped and wedged myself in the CT scanner. Anyway, the next thing I remember is waiting in a corridor with a load of doctors. And I think that was in the corridor when I was waiting for the helicopter. So anyway, they airlifted me from Angoulême to Bordeaux, where I went straight into emergency surgery, where they was already waiting for me because they knew I was coming. How long was I in there for? 10 hours?
Something it felt like forever. But
10 hours in surgery. And then, was I back in again that night, or?
No.
The next day.
The following night.
The following night, back in surgery again because
Bleed around the heart.
bleed around the heart.
Then 2 days later, you went back in for your intestines.
Yeah. So basically what happened is my aorta decided it was going to start leaking everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but inside my body where it shouldn't be leaking. So then what happens is your heart's still pumping, but your extremities don't receive any blood. So your body tries to preserve itself by just feeding the vital organs. So your brain, your heart, well obviously the heart's doing all the work, but your vital organs in your core. So my legs, after a couple of hours, your muscles start dying off because they're not receiving any blood.
And the toxins that are created.
And then the toxins that are created from your muscles not doing anything
Stress.
start circulating around your body. So there was all that going on.
That's why your kidneys gave up.
So they replaced my aorta. I've got a bit of Teflon tube in there now. And I think they've replaced my valve, haven't they?
Yeah, and they've gone up into one of your carotids.
They replaced a valve on my heart and they've gone up and put stents on my carotid arteries in my neck and on one of my kidneys, didn't they?
No, they didn't have to. They had to watch it. They didn't.
I thought they put one on there.
No.
That's what they said.
I don't think so.
But anyway, because all these toxins and stuff going around my body, and all the drugs and stuff they were pumping in, my kidneys packed up. So I ended up on dialysis. So I was in intensive care. I was out of it for 10 days, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 10 days I was just having a nice nap, really. Everybody else was worried and panicking about me, and I was just sending up Zeds, dreaming some really weird stuff. I think that was a lot to do with the drugs. But, so that's damaged the muscles in my legs to a certain extent, but there is some damage on the base of my brain, on the medulla oblongata. So they told me. So that's possibly what's causing problems with my legs. But obviously I was quite a few months laying on my back trying to heal. I was in intensive care for just over a month, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Intensive care for just over a month, and then they moved me onto the cardiac ward, where I didn't really recover that well because I ended up getting E. coli and MRSA and a urine infection, none of which they told me about until we got the doctor's notes when I was released from the rehab centre. This kicked off in April, and I was released from the rehab centre in December. So we only found out in December that I had E. coli and MRSA, which explained quite a lot of things, because Mum and Dad, the Hobbit, was coming in to visit, and I was just being miserable. I felt as rough as arseholes. I felt better in intensive care than I did on the cardiac ward.
That's where you got the MRSA and the E. coli.
What, on the cardiac ward? Yeah. But so that's what's happened there. Now with my legs, I can feel touch. So if I touch my legs, I can feel it. Somebody else touches my legs, I can feel it. But I can't feel hot, and I can't feel cold, and I can't feel pain. So, you know, but I can still move my legs, but I just haven't got a strength to stand up. Whether it'll come back or not, I don't know. I mean, I had obviously quite a few months in rehab, but they was only concentrating on my upper body so that I could transfer from the wheelchair to the bed, wheelchair to the toilet, this, that and the other. But they didn't really do anything on my legs because I had a really bad bed sore just on the top of my arse that was right down, was it down to the bone, wasn't it?
I think so. I never saw it when it was that bad.
So that was pretty bad.
When I saw it, it was still very sort of 50% and deep.
Yeah. So the Hobbit does think, because when I was in intensive care in Bordeaux, I had a physiotherapist coming out and I could actually move my toes and not so much move my legs, but I had a fair bit of movement. Now when I ended up in the next hospital, when they put me on the cardiac ward, when I got this bed sore, that's when things started going downhill. And it's only recently the Hobbit said, I wonder if your nerves were damaged with that bed sore, because it was so deep
And so long.
and so long as well. When I got to the rehab centre, the doctor saw it there, and he was astonished. He said, "Oh, you know, I can't believe it. I can't believe they've let it get like that." So I don't know. It's on my arse. I can't see it. But so that's a possibility that's done some nerve damage. There is nerve damage there because they've done they've shocked my legs, and they take readings, and they did it once early on, and then I went back and they did it again, and there was no change in the readings, which is when he told me about the damage on my medulla oblongata. Yeah, it was on my notes. So that's what's happened there. But at the end of the day, I'm still alive. And I'm still kicking around to annoy the Hobbit.
Yay!
I bet the Hobbit was really stressed out.
Yes, she was.
She was quite stressed out, but I think when it all happened, it happened so fast and there's so much going on, you didn't have time to...
I didn't have time to really process any of it until you got out.
Yeah, so she... You know, it was just full on.
I'm still processing it.
Hospital visits, this, that and the other. I've got to go here and I've got to go there. he's seen this person, this, that, and the other. So she didn't really have time to think about it, and it's like she just said. It was only when I came out, it's and back up. Was it back home? And back home, she was like, "Oh my, what the bloody hell's happened here?"
What
sort of
have we
thing.
just been through.
But I'm still here, so. And it is a bit annoying not being able to walk. But
It's not the end of the world.
it's not the end. It's not the end of the world. I can still drive the car. I can get on the tractor, cut the grass. I can get on the digger and dig holes. What else do you do on a digger?
I can still dig holes.
But so I'm gonna have another bit of pork pie.
I can't believe you've still got that pork pie.
Well, I don't want to sit here just chomping away because it's not good viewing, is it?
Stop looking.
There were some spares with that engine. I'm really pleased with that thing. That's quite good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my excitement for 2016. They can have some pastry. They're not having any meat.
Pastry or don't? Don't wait till you.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat it first. Not. Yeah. It never does happen to the scum, does it? It's only the good ones, as you say.
Yeah, but at least they always say the good die young. At least you were not good enough to do that.
Well, yeah. Homemade pork pie. Some of you might have heard this already tonight.
Yeah.
Prior to that, we had a gardening and landscaping business, which was just really taking off. We was just picking up some commercial contracts, which were going to be quite good for us, and then that all went out the window.
Oh well, never mind. That's life. I'm still gardening.
So that's the pork pie finished. There are 2 more in the fridge, but I'm not going to have them tonight. You'll have to just excuse me while I give the dogs a bit of pastry. Come here then, you 2 bum nuggets. Come on.
Steady on. Quick.
Give us your paw. Good boy. Sit. Pause. I'm doing that so they can get on camera. That's it. All gone. All gone.
All gone.
All gone.
Go and say hello.
Come here, Luda.
It's all gone, Kira.
Ah, get your nose off of it. Look, Luda.
Kira. Come here. Oh,
Kira. Come on in.
she doesn't do up, does she?
She does. Come on. Good girl. Look. Good girl.
Blimey.
That's the dog's cameo.
Good girl. There's no more.
Meeting up in the summer.
Who knows what will be going on by the summer?
Well, yeah. I mean, the Ben's Garage event. Obviously, it won't be happening. It's not that it's not going to be happening. We haven't got the TD6 anymore. But if there's enough people interested, we will still have a Ben's Garage event, and I think we'll get Christmas and New Year out of the way. Then I'll start putting the feelers out again, see who's interested. What you're going to want to do, go up to the campsite or whatever, and because the Hobbit works up there, we might be able to get a discount. I don't think we will, but we will,
Council, isn't it?
because it's a council-run campsite. But we might be able to do something.
Nothing else will feed us.
Well, yeah. So if there's enough interest, we'll put on the Ben's Garage event, and we'll just have to come up with some activities. I don't know what travel's going to be like next year because I wasn't going to go down the COVID rabbit hole tonight.
Still don't. We just don't know.
No, we just don't know. So obviously we'll have to play it by ear and see what happens. So yeah, after Christmas and New Year, I'll put the feelers out again. Who's interested? Who wants to come? Start of the year, start of the summer, or at the end of the summer. Do I miss the Range Rover? Well, we've still got a Range Rover, so I don't miss the TD6 as much as I would miss the TDV8 if I was had to get rid of that. The TD6 was good. It was a good car, but when we first got the TD6, it was brilliant because I hadn't driven a TDV8. Excuse me. Pardon me. So I didn't really know any different. The TD6 was fantastic. It worked fine. The air suspension was perfect on it. The gearbox did develop a little bit of a fault towards the end. It developed a fault sort of while we was moving house because we was towing the trailer over, and when it got up into 5th gear, you could just sort of feel it having a bit of a funny sort of. It wasn't a judder, but it was sort of like it felt like it was sort of hesitating a little bit, and sort of, but only at a certain speed. So if you got over that speed, it was fine. But it never failed. It always carried on going, even when the intercooler hose popped off. I drove it home like that, and it still got up to speed. It was just a little bit sluggish, that was all. So when that went, I was a little bit sad because it did us a good job, that car. Helped us move house, towing the trailer over here and bits and pieces like that. But we've still got the TDV8, and I love that car. Even though I've mentioned in the previous video when we fitted the battery, there was rumblings in the house about getting rid of it. That might be on hold for just a little bit longer.
Get the Panda on the road. Do what you like.
Well, yeah, that's the idea. We've got to get the Panda on the road so that the Hobbit's not wearing my car out. What are you looking at me like that for?
So that we've got a car when your car breaks down.
So yeah, that's the plan in the new year. Well, I think it will be the new year now, is because we've got a lot of jobs in the garden to do. So yeah, the gearbox in the TD6 is made out of cheese. And I don't think it was the gearbox, I think it was the torque converter, which obviously when the torque converter starts going, it puts metal filings in the gearbox, and that's what finishes the gearbox off. Yeah, happy Christmas right back at you. So yeah, obviously in the TDV8 it's got a slightly better gearbox. They're still not brilliant. I think the 8-speed in the 4.4 is slightly better than the 6-speed that we've got in the 3.6, but even so, well, if they're properly maintained, they're not too bad. And our car has never towed, so it's not had a hard life, and it was quite low mileage when we got it. It was full service history, but fairly low mileage. It's still low mileage now. I think we're on about 137, aren't we, kilometres?
No idea.
Done about 137,000 kilometres, which, well, it's not even 100,000 miles, is it? Yes, the Panda is a 4x4. It has the knob behind the gear lever. You just pull it up, and away you're in 4-wheel drive. I did a video where we compared the Panda 4x4 against the TD6, and I was reminded of this fact earlier on today. As the Hobbit likes to point out, I had a bit of an off-road track out in the garden where I dug a massive hole, and then I did a big banked corner, lots of obstacles. So we did a video where the Hobbit was driving the Panda, I was driving the TD6. Of course, I was going through these holes in luxury. Straight in and straight out. Now the Panda did exactly the same, but you can see the Hobbit bouncing about inside. It didn't look comfortable at all.
It was fun.
But it did go everywhere that the Range Rover went. The only thing with the Panda, it's not got great ground clearance. So when we went into the woods where there's a bit of a rock feature, Range Rover walked it, because obviously I'm in off-road suspension height. The Panda hasn't got that facility. So as she came into the woods, there was an almighty crunch. There's like an engine cradle underneath, and that clouted the rocks. But she carried on going, ploughed through it.
I've never done off-roading before.
No, she doesn't like off-roading, never done it before, but the car is quite capable. It's only got road tyres on it at the moment, so, you know, it's plenty good enough for what she's going to be using it for. Whether you go for... So it depends on what you use it for, and if you start using it in the fields and stuff...
You just have to go careful.
Yeah, but when these tyres are worn out, whether we go for a slightly more off-road based tyre, like an all-terrain, put an all-terrain on it because it's good on the road and off-road. So yeah, that's the Panda. As I said earlier, I've got a few little jobs to do on it. I've almost finished the front of it, so that's suspension, brakes, new steering rack, headlights. It's had a timing belt, it's had a water pump, fitted electronic ignition. Well, it was she won't want that.
What was that?
We can put air suspension on the Panda.
Oh no, you won't. You won't touch anything on that.
Now we've just put brand new shocks and springs on the front, and I've got brand new leaf springs and shocks for the back. Because it was sitting on the piss a little bit.
Very.
I think it had heavy duty springs put on it years ago by the looks of it, because they were quite old. And it was sitting on the piss. And the steering rack was absolutely knackered. There was a good inch of play on one side. Now on the Panda steering racks you can actually unbolt the ends and swap them. There's like a knuckle joint on the inner track rods, and you can take them off and change them. Well, I ordered them thinking that that's what the clonking was, but it wasn't. It turned out to be the actual steering rack. So there's a brand new steering rack on it now, new track rod ends. So it will be like a brand new car underneath when it's done. Say in the new year I'll get back on it, get the drive shaft back in it, get all the suspension button back up, bleed the brakes out, and then we can drive it out, turn it around and put it back in so I can do the back of the car. And then hopefully we can get it all CT'd, MOT'd, whatever you want to call it over here. And she can start using it.
Finally.
When did we buy it?
A year and a bit ago.
Longer than that, wasn't it? It was parked up for over a year.
I thought it was September of...
I don't know, we've had it a while.
You wouldn't let me drive it.
Eh?
You wouldn't let me drive it.
Why?
You said it wasn't safe.
Oh, it wasn't.
I know.
Oh dear.
It was fun though.
Really, if we was a bit more... The Hobbit speaks quite good, very good French, fluent French. My French is not great. It should never have passed its CT in the condition it was in. So I think the bloke who sold it, he had a garage, but over here you can't CT cars if you have a garage. It has to be a CT station. So I think he must have paid someone to slip it through the test or whatever, because the way it wasn't safe, because that play in that steering rack was there when we bought the car. Obviously I didn't road test it. I can't drive it. It's manual for a start, which it doesn't matter. I can drive the tractor, that's manual, but in the tractor you're sort of sat upright and you can push down on your pedals. A Panda, you're crammed in like this. I can't get my knees under the bleeding steering wheel. So I have tried driving it, but it didn't end well. I had to sort of use the handbrake and to stop it. But so the Hobbit just drove it to test it, and she doesn't know clonks and bangs. It's just an old car, isn't it? Of course, driving it around the field is bang, bang, bang. What the bloody hell? But we've got to the bottom of what that was, so that's all sorted. Oh, nice Series 1 with a V8, very nice. We used to have one of them come into work years ago. I think it was a Series 1, was it? They call them lightweights with an angular bonnet. That used to come in with V8 in it. They don't look very comfortable, But I just like Range Rovers. Just relax, plush interior. You can just glide and wallow over the bumps.
That's the trouble with it, you wallow. I notice it when going around corners, it's not stiff, it's
It doesn't want to be stiff.
wallowy and
It's just a nice luxurious ride,
driving
isn't
a
it?
boat.
It's not like a boat at all. It's just a well-planted car.
No, it's like driving a boat.
So yeah, the Audi's all bought and paid for now, so that's gone. But I've got another Audi sitting out here. I won't go into the whys and wherefores, but yeah, but I can't register it for the road. I'm going to have to strip it down and sell the parts, which is a bit of a shame because the car is quite a good car. It's a 2004 Audi A4, 1.9 TDI. A long story to this car, but yeah, I'm just going to strip it down and sell off the parts. So yeah, we've got my dad's car here still. BMW. We'll have to see if that'll start actually at some point.
I thought that the other day.
They're apparently returning to France on the 2nd of January. I don't know if they're watching this tonight. We've got 8 people watching so far. I've not seen the old dears commenting or anything, so they might watch it at some point. But yeah, they went back in October and it was a lot messing about travelling from country to country with the tests and stuff, and it was going to cost so much money, so they decided to stay there till Christmas. So when they come back in January, we're going to just drop their car off at the airport and wave at them from a distance. Just in case, you know. Socially distanced.
From both sides.
We'll park it up and we'll throw the keys at them. Yeah, the Hobbit absolutely hated that car, the Audi. Really, I mean, I saw the pictures and I sort of loved it straight away. But thinking about it, we should have not bought that car really, because I don't know if you've been in the back of an Audi A4, but there's no room in it whatsoever. We used to struggle to get the wheelchair in. I had to take the wheelchair apart to get it in the boot. But it was a nice car to drive. It was the Audi A4 2.5 TDI, so it was the V6. It was the 180 horsepower version, and it had the S-Line sports suspension on it. So it handled really well. It was a Quattro as well, so 4-wheel drive, sports suspension. You know, it really did handle well, but it just wasn't practical. We don't carry many people. We only have the 2 dogs on the back seat, but there was no room in the boot. But then the Hobbit moans that there's not a lot of room in the Range Rover.
Not for what you'd think.
The trouble is with the Range Rover, it's got like we've taken the parcel shelf out because the Hobbit's been using it for work, so she's been taking the strimmer and the hedge trimmer out and stuff. Took the parcel shelf out, but there's still the thing across the back of the seats where the blinds go in. That does probably come out, but I keep saying I'll take it out. She says no, it's all right. So she drops the seats and gets her stuff in there, but yeah. So with the Panda, I think the Panda's only 2 seats because it's registered as a van. Although it's got windows in the back, it's actually registered as a van with 2 seats. So you can't put any more seats in it. If you was to put back seats in it, you'd have to re-register it as a car. But it's such a rigmarole, it's not worth it. So behind the seats there's like a bulkhead. So we're going to take the bulkhead out. Now either, if we can recline the passenger seat all the way down, see if she can get her strimmers in the back, or we might even take the seat out once it's been for its CT. And was we going to do that, or just lay the seat down in case we needed it in emergencies?
We can't lay the seat down.
Why?
It won't go Well, we don't really know yet 'cause it's got that thing
That
behind it.
bulkhead, yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, so that's the plan. She does want me to get her a roof rack for it. You know, for strapping up the ladders and stuff like that on top of the roof. Rakes and all that kind of thing. She doesn't want a trailer, do you?
No.
So I don't need to fit a tow bar on it. But yeah, so get the Panda up and running. That'll be her little mobile wagon. And I can get the Range Rover parked up on the battery charger. Keep it topped up. That's the plan anyway. But blimey, I've been on here for 2 hours.
Oh, that makes a change.
What time? Oh, it's just coming up to 10 o'clock. See, I've got to get more people come in at this time when I'm thinking about shutting down.
You need to start later then.
Well, I can't start any later. I'll be here up till gone midnight, won't I?
To have a late night.
So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. It's not the sort of thing you're going to use every day. But it's a nice little ornament, isn't it? Quite easy to build. The worst bit was the little plastic things that hold the con rods on. You've got one on there, and you've got two on there. But I think you can adjust them a little bit so that they run straight. And it'll probably run a bit faster. This conrod's actually bent. Straighten that up a little bit. I bet that'll go a bit faster now. So yeah, that's been our little bit of excitement for this evening. And I say, Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, a halfpenny will do. If you haven't got a halfpenny, then God bless you. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, well, what we're on the 15th, so it's 10 days. 10 days and it'll all be done, won't it? All be done and done and dusted, finished. And all my presents will be open. Because I've got a lot of presents this year. Alright then, perhaps I haven't. I've got one that I know of because I've actually opened it and seen it myself.
You've got a few bits.
I did this last year. I said I'd like this for Christmas, so she got it. And when it turned up, she said, you better open it and make sure it's alright. So I did. I opened it. I had a new air rifle last year. Opened it all up. Oh, this is nice, isn't it? It's gone. She whipped it away from me and that was it. Never to be seen again until Christmas. So this year, I asked for a nice, very nice scope for my rifle. So she said, you better check it, make sure it's not broken. So, all out the bottom. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, that's good. It's gone. 10 days. 10 days and we can get it out. I do like a bit of Christmas. So, a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, we went shopping.
Yeah.
The Hobbit saves up her change and puts it in a jar.
And the loyalty card.
And the loyalty card we get at the supermarket, it adds up and you know, you can redeem money off of it. So we got this jar of coins and in the supermarket there's a machine where you can tip your coins in and it counts them all out for you and it prints off a token or a voucher that you can go and spend in the shop. So was it 38 euros in the jar?
No, nearly 40.
Oh yeah, it was 39. It was about 3 cents off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
3 cents off of 40 euros in this jar she'd saved.
He was like a flipping kid.
And then of course there was 20 cents on the card.
Yeah, you had nearly 60. Or just
So
over
60, she said you can go wild. 60 euros on Christmas goodies. So we went wild and we spent 190 euros.
Some of that was meat. We did get a lot of cheese.
We got a lot of cheese. We do like a bit of cheese. If you watched my Christmas live stream last year, you'll know that I had a bit of a cheese and wine evening, and we had a lot of cheese that night. We did get a bit of cheese this year, not as much as that last time, did we? But a nice amount.
No.
Anyway,
You might have done.
but pork is always on special offer. Well, not always, but it has been on special offer for a good few weeks. So every time the Hobbit goes out, she comes back with these massive pork joints. And how much are they? Like less than a tenner, aren't they?
I think the one that was €2, 2 kilos something, was about €8.
Yeah, like €8 for 2 kilos of pork, and it's solid. It's all meat. There's no bone.
It's the shoulder.
It's a shoulder. So she's been saving them, and she did us a nice ham, and I ground a load up for sausage meat, which was in the homemade pork pie, which I consumed this evening.
Got 2 hams coming.
So I've got 2 hams coming for Christmas this year. A bit of a spicy one that she did, and a honey roasted. But yeah, we got some. Build some more.
I need to do that.
The drums are still in the room, but I've not been on them for a while. I would say that I've not had the time, but I'd be lying. I do have the time, but I end up doing other stuff. You know, whatever it is, whether it's video editing or I've not even picked the guitar up that often, have I?
Not really.
But it's all in the other room. Has Brexit been a pain?
Not for us.
Brexit for us, we was in the French system, so we pay our tax over here. We registered to be residents over here. We had the right anyway because we've been here so long, but we just had to go through the formalities, which was basically you had to apply for your carte de séjour, and then you had to have an appointment at the prefecture where they took your fingerprints and you just signed some stuff and you took some photos in and you get a card, and that lasts for 10 years. My benefits haven't changed at all yet.
I'm entitled to work.
Touch wood. The Hobbit's entitled to go to work. I mean, I've been here 11 years.
Just over 11, isn't it? I've been here just over 10.
Yeah, I came here in 2009. The Hobbit came here in 2010, didn't you? So, yeah. So because we've been here that long, we was entitled to basically stay here.
And we have nothing in the UK to cause us issues.
Yeah, we haven't got anything in the UK. I haven't got any UK bank accounts or anything. The Hobbit's got a UK bank account, but we've got no addresses, nothing over in the UK. The only thing that it has caused, not problems, but whereas we would just order something off eBay and it come from the UK, postage used to be like £3 or £4. If you can find someone on eBay that's in the UK that is willing to ship to France, it's going to cost you £10 upwards. More often than not, it's £15 plus for shipping, because then you've got your import tax as well. So that sort of buggers the job up really. But then we use Amazon.fr, Amazon.de. I tend not to use eBay too much unless it's something international. Now, one thing that we did use a lot of, well, not a lot, we used to use sort of this time of year at Christmas, there's a website called BritishCornerShop.com where you can get all your British goods, like your Marmites and Jacob's crackers, you know, British stuff. Their prices, they said, oh, we've relocated our warehouse so it's in the EU, but their prices have gone stupid. They've sort of tripled in price for a packet of biscuits, you know. And then you can go to the supermarket up the road, and if they've got an English section on their shelf, which they quite often have, they'll have like an international section where they've got different countries. You can pick them up dirt cheap, like a packet of ginger nuts, like €1.60. And on the corner shop they'll be €3 something, won't they? Or more than that, you know. They say that they've got a warehouse in Holland, I think, but their prices have just gone through the roof because obviously they've got to cover costs for shipping everything to Holland, and so other than that, Brexit hasn't really affected us. There was a bit of a worry that it was going to affect my disability benefit, but so far it hasn't done. So touch wood, that's all good. Yeah. So I don't.
The short answer is no.
Well, yeah, I'm just thinking it hasn't really affected us. It probably affected people in the UK more than it has us.
Yeah, and little things like mum and dad going backwards and forwards, they're no longer EU
Yeah.
citizens. And
Obviously, travel's been a bit restricted because they're obviously now the UK is not in the EU anymore. Travel backwards and forwards is a bit more complicated, but we don't go anywhere.
literally.
I've not really got any inclination to go back to the UK. Not. I just don't enjoy going back. It's too busy. I think where we are out in the countryside, you know, we get a little bit of local traffic out here, which is the farmers, and we don't mind that, you know. And that's it. If we see about 4 cars out here, that's busy. Obviously, we're off the main road. We're out in the countryside. There's not a lot going on down here, but yeah, I think last time I went back was 2015, wasn't it? When we went back to pick that mower up.
Yeah, and as soon as we got off the ferry, I said, can we turn
Yeah, you get off the ferry and it's just like wacky races. It's I mean, I don't mind driving in busy because, you know, I used to drive for a living, but just don't enjoy it. It's too busy. People are, or the people that I've experienced since living in France, when I go back to the UK, I've just been rude, and
always in a rush.
everyone's in a rush to get somewhere. So nobody's got time to.
Say hello.
Yeah, we went back to the UK. I was playing in a band and we had a little tour of the UK, and we were staying in this flat. And I went out to the minibus to get something, and as I came out the foyer bit of the flat apartment block, there was a woman stood outside having a cigarette, and I just said, you know, walking out of it, morning, and she ran back indoors like I was a bloody axe murderer or something. And I was like, what's going on? You know, because here in France, it's like, you know, UK used to be years ago. You know, you'd say hello to someone, they'd say hello back. It's just manners, isn't it? But oh no, she was gone, and I thought that's a bit odd because like here in France, if you are stood in, like you go in the post office, there's a queue. The next person to walk in the door, they say hello to everybody in the shop, and so whether we've just got a bit used to that or what, I don't know. But it's the island is too bloody full. See, I think the population of France is about the same as the UK, isn't it? But the country is massive.
Yeah, but a lot of it's not populated.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
France as a country is massive.
But it's a lot of the population is concentrated in dense areas.
Well, that's the same in any country,
Yeah.
isn't it? You get your populations are in your cities and towns, but
But no, I think it might even be slightly less in the UK. I'm not sure. There's only about 10 million difference.
well, there's too many cars on the road, I think, for a start. In the UK, families have got 2 to 3 cars, haven't they? And,
Yeah, but we've got 4.
yeah, but
We don't drive them all.
we only use one at a time.
But yeah, it's...
I keep. Well, people probably get a bit fed up when I keep saying when I was a kid.
You've reached that age, darling.
Well, it's not that. Well, it might be, but I think this generation, they've bred a generation of snowflakes. When I was a kid, back in the day, I used to cycle 5 miles to the bus stop in any weather, rain, snow, whatever. I had to get there 5 miles it was on my push bike.
You were lucky you had a bike.
Yeah, here we go. Monty Python.
That's
The little darlings nowadays have to be driven to school, don't they? But anyway, it's like I was saying earlier, the youth of today, they don't know they're born. I used to go out to work when I was 11 at the weekends. Fair enough, it was only at the riding stables and I was mucking out. But at 11 I was working and I had weekend work right up until I left school. Nowadays, kids just don't, they're not interested, are they? They get given stuff, you know. When if I wanted some money to go out somewhere, I had to do jobs for my mum. And even then, that wasn't guaranteed. So you go out and earn yourself some money. So I used to have more jobs on a Saturday and Sunday, especially when I got my moped. 16, yeah, we're on the road, provisional licence. Slap the old L plate. I had a Yamaha FS1E. That's not giving away my age because the bike was really old when I got it. It was a P-Reg, 1975. De-restricted. There was no restrictions on it when it was 1975. Obviously, it was 1993 when I had it. 93, 92, 93, I don't know. Anyway, all my mates had these fandangled AR50s, MT5s, MBX50s and all these fancy mopeds. I used to take the piss out of my little FS1E because it had chrome mud guards and big old handlebars. But I used to leave them in the dust. Gone. Whew. That little thing used to do 62 miles an hour flat out. You couldn't stop it because the drum brakes were about that big. You might as well put your feet down to stop the thing. Back in the day, yes, I was still at school because when I started working, they had a right old moan because I used to earn more money of a weekend than I did for a whole week at the garage on the old YT scheme. And they didn't like it. It's not they didn't like it, but they wanted me to work on a Saturday. And I said, I can't work Saturdays because I'm earning too much money on a Saturday. So they said, well, we're going to have to let you go. So I had to pack in my weekend jobs and stick to my garage work at £29.50 a week. Used to give my mum tenner of that. Yeah, P-Reg. Same as mine. On the old fizzes, you could pull the pin out because you could pedal it. That's how they got around the licensing, didn't they? In those days, you could pedal it, but then you could pull the pin out and lift the pedal up so that they were both level. So it had a kickstart as well, but for the law and the license and that, it had to be a moped. So the old, I don't know if the Suzuki had the same, but definitely the Fizzy, because mine it had been wedged. So that because by the time I was riding the old mopeds, that law wasn't valid. It had to be a certain CC and not be able to go over a certain speed, I think. So the pedals had been fixed up permanently. Yeah, it was a cracking little bike that was, but it got so unreliable. I was going to work. I was working at Wainfleet, which is near Skegness, and it was about 10 miles. And more often than not, I'd break down, 2 to 3 times a week. We had the engine and gearbox out of it twice. Now, if these little moped engines with their gearboxes, they're quite delicate little things, aren't they? So anyway, the gear selector all went funny on it, and I couldn't change gear properly. So I took the engine and gearbox out, and with the help of my dad, we split the gearbox, and he said, "Oh, it's this bit here. We need to weld it up." So anyway, he gets his bloody stick welder out, and he's and all these like little delicate little gears and stuff, and put it back together. I think it worked for a day, and it went again. So we took it out again. He got his welder out, whacked some big old blobs of weld on whatever, I can't remember what it was, but after that it changed gear brilliantly. It was really slick, absolutely lovely, but no, I wouldn't want to pedal it very far because they weren't exactly lightweight, were they? I know they was only small, but I rode up into town one day on it, and I kick-started it outside the shops, and it fired up. I revved it up, and it went, it just like, it was gutless. Riding it home, 25 miles an hour, flat out. I thought, oh, what have I done here? So anyway, on the old fizzes, the carburettor was down on the crankcase. So to take the top of the engine off was really easy. Exhaust off, head off, cylinder off. So took the head off, took the cylinder off. It was as scored as arseholes. And I think what had happened was the gudgeon pin, the circlip had come out, the gudgeon pin had slid out the piston. So as the piston came down, it had scored the barrel. As the piston came down, the rings got caught in that. The piston went back up, and the rings in the bottom of the engine somewhere, I suppose. Which that might have caused the gearbox issue. But anyway, I took the cylinder and the piston up to our local place in Spilsby. A.E. Wildman's. He was like proper old school in there. He used to stand there with his pipe on, a little potbelly stove. And I said, can you have a look at this? I said, I think it needs reboring. And he looked at it, he goes, yeah, I think it does need reboring. So he gets his calipers out and he measured it. He said, I can't rebore that. He said, it's maximum already. And I said, what do you mean maximum? And he said, well, I can't bore it out any more than that. Oh, that's weird. Anyway, he gave me a price for an original Yamaha cylinder and piston, which was 49cc, and that was like £75. Well, I thought, well, that's, I'm only earning £29.50 a week. 10 of that goes to my mum. 10 of that went on fuel for the week. It's going to take me a long time to save that up. Anyway, back in the good old days of Exchange and Mart, they used to do a big bore kit for the old FS1E. And I always remember it's 65cc, big bore kit, complete, gaskets, piston, gudgeon pins, circlips, rings, the lot. £28. Thank you very much. Ordered it, fitted it, run it in, and it was as good as new. Am I a Lincolnshire lad? Nah. We lived there for quite a few years. I think I was about 7 when we moved to Lincolnshire. 7? Yeah, 80... 84, I think we moved up there. So I was 7, and I think I had my 8th birthday up there, yeah. But yeah, we was there for over 20 years. It was alright. They're a strange lot in Lincolnshire.
Rubbed off, didn't it?
What do you mean it rubbed off? We moved up there from Kent, and it was like going to a foreign country. I couldn't understand a word people were saying. Especially the headmaster at the primary school. Obviously you get used to it quite quick when you're a kid. But yeah, it was very strange. It was like going back in time a little bit as well. Obviously when we was down in Kent, you could just jump on a bus, go into the big towns and stuff, get on a train. Moved up to rural Lincolnshire. A local bus? What's that? You got into Spilsby, you could get on a bus. You could go to Lincoln, Skegness or Boston. And once a week you could get a bus. There would be a local bus that would take you up to the market on a Monday. And then you could get on another bus to go to Boston, Lincoln or Skegness. But you had to be back in Spilsby to catch the bus to get you back home. So it's a bit of a faff. But Spilsby was only 2 miles away. We used to walk up there quite often. Yeah. So that's why I sort of like this part of France, because it's sort of like Lincolnshire when we first moved up there, which is like really quiet and not stuck in time, but what's the word? I don't know. Northumberland.
No, Sunderland, my granddad came from.
Yes. That's up that way, isn't it?
It's up that way. I think it might be further north.
Further north. Further north. Yeah, the Hobbit's granddad was from Sunderland, so that's up that way. So yeah, all good stuff. I think we're looking at 20 past 10 now. I've been on here for 2.5 hours. The old mouth's getting a bit dry now. So we've had rather a productive evening. We've built an engine. We've had it running on the table. I'm still really chuffed with this.
Light it again.
I'm going to. I have to hold it up here. I think I might need to put some more fuel in it, because that's just burning the wick. We can smell it, can't you? Oh, it's well further north, apparently.
Does it border Scotland?
What, Northumberland?
Which one is well further north? Northumberland.
Which one is well further north, Northumberland or Sunderland?
And does it border Scotland?
And does it border Scotland? I should know all this.
So should I.
Being a recovery truck driver for quite a few years, I've been all over the country. I can't remember most of it.
That makes you sound like you were off your head.
I wasn't off my head, but you sort of tend to drive. You tend to drive blank, don't you?
Yeah.
That's better. We've got fuel in it now. We've got a nice flame. You can't really see it. Oh, you can see it on the camera. Just let it warm up a little bit. Oh, I'm getting a heat wobble on the screen. Or is that just me shaking?
You get that in the flipping Range Rover.
What?
When you put the heated windscreen on, you get the heat wobble.
Do you?
Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet. This time. Well, it's shaking a bit. Let's support it. John from Livewire! Northumberland, well north. It's in the name.
Sunderland, I suppose, underneath. Yeah.
How the devil are you, John? Not heard from you for a long time. I didn't know if you're still alive.
Tell me more about the
Eh?
about the sunlight.
Yeah. Look at that. It's got a bit of a shake on. I think we might be a bit out of balance.
Cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it borders Scotland. What? Oh.
So I'm just going to look at a map of the UK.
Yo, man. So, John, how did you find this live stream? Did you just randomly pick it up on YouTube?
Oh, you can really smell that, can't you?
Yeah. So, John, who has just joined in the comments, is one of the oldest rockers in town. Not being disrespectful, John, but I used to play with John in a band called Livewire. Yeah, well, I've got my Christmas jumper on, I've got my Christmas hat on, we've got the tree over here, we only put the tree up today. Yeah, so we've played in a band called Livewire. Well, I was the youngest member. I think they only employed me to join the band because I brought the average age right down. It obviously made them feel better. No bells tonight. We've got bells on the tree. Yeah, so we did quite a few gigs with the old Livewire. We actually recorded a CD. Rocker, yes, old, very old. Are you still rocking though, John? That's the thing. Well, I don't. Have you still got the telly? Because if you're getting that old, you won't be able to pick it up for much longer. Because it did weigh like a barn door. Yeah, and we did have to tie the end of the stage, and I did make a point of that. Guitarists normally are, terrible for wires everywhere and effects pedals and God knows what. But John's obviously a guitarist. But we used to be on one side of the stage and we always kept things nice and tidy. Whereas over the other side, where Chris was playing guitar, it was a bloody mess. Yeah, the good old days. Back in the day, I've got some of those CDs. I think I've got about 3 or 4 of them left. Eh?
It's alright, I'm still.
Oh, looking at a map.
Yeah. I'm figuring out which county it's in.
Livewire was a bit of a old rock and roll covers band. Most of the songs I'd never heard of. I did know most of the songs. They just weren't. How do I say it without being?
They weren't your.
They weren't my bag. They were alright. I enjoyed playing it. It was, but like rock and roll, and it's like 3-bar blues for a bass player. It's rather, if you can get a bit of a groove going, it's all right. If the crowd's going and you've got a buzzing crowd, it's not a bad night. But other than that, it's a bit monotonous because it's boom, 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 boom. But we had a good crack. We had some good nights, didn't we, with the old Livewire? Mm. We had some good paying nights as well. Yeah, I might hold on to them, John. They might be worth a lot more in a few years. I won't say what I was going to say because that would be awful just for Christmas, but no, I'll keep it to myself. I think you know what I'm going to say, don't you? CDs would be worth more when they've all popped it. Bloody youngsters? What do you mean, bloody youngsters? Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, I was quite young at the time, and you lot all obviously had your bus pass. And the free food was always quite agreeable. I won't argue with that. But, yeah. Those were the days. I've not played live music now. When was the last time? Was it 2015? Or no? Do we have a gig with Ray? 2016?
No, not before you got ill.
No, that was from Christmas till April. I would have done a Christmas gig with Ray, wouldn't I?
I don't know.
25th.
I can't remember.
Yeah, so I've not played live music now since about probably 2015. Might have been early 2016 before I ended up in hospital, but I'm not sure. The last band I was playing with, he used to just phone me up, say we've got a gig. Are you available? It's at such and such. And because I was just depping, it was €100 for a night and a 3-course dinner. So don't turn that down, do you? And no rehearsals. I used to just because the amplifier I've got now only weighs 19 kilos. It's really lightweight, but it still puts out a really good sound. So I used to guitar in one hand, amp in the other, couple of leads in the bag, plonk it down. He'd have all his PA set up. I used to just run a DI out of my amp into his PA, play the gig, pack my gear up, €100, thank you very much, and I'd piss off home. And he didn't like people touching his gear, so I used to leave him to it. See you next time. I do still pick the guitar up occasionally. It's all set up in the other room, but I've not picked it up for a while because we've been busy doing other things. But I sort of miss it, but I don't. I've done it now for quite a few years, and I don't socialise anymore. We are not sociable people. We are like hermits, apart from the Hobbit goes out to work. Suits us. Keep ourselves to ourselves. Got a nice bit of land here, so we've got 5 acres. So I get out on the tractor and cut the grass. And lovely jubbly. All good stuff. Did you know it's been 2 years since Jeremy died?
2 years, really?
Yeah. Liz put it out today.
No.
So
Time flies.
it does, yeah. So I've been on here now for 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I'm probably going to be knocking it on the head anytime soon.
You've run out of rubbish.
Yeah, well, there's only 7 people in here. I've built my engine. We've done that little job. I've polished off a pork pie. I've had a beer. Pub shuts in 30 minutes. Yeah. 2 thumbs up, John. Thank you for popping in this evening. Sending love back to you as well.
See him again next year.
Well, he said see you next year. We've actually moved house, John, so if you do come to France, don't go back to our old house.
Yeah, what's for the address?
Because we don't live there anymore. We're in the countryside. But if you watch out any of our videos, you'll know that. So, yeah, it's good to see you on here tonight, John, actually.
I meant see him next year, as in you do one live stream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do the Christmas live stream next year.
Yeah.
Right, so on that note, I think I will wrap it up for this evening. It's been a rather nice, quiet, subdued Christmas live stream this year. No drunken shenanigans from me. I didn't polish off 100 weight of cheese, but we did manage to build an engine and get it running. So I think on that note, I'm going to sign off and get stuff packed away and go to bed. Well, at some point. It's 25 to 11 here, so... But, yeah, it's been good to see you all here. So I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from me and the Hobbit. Oh, here we go. Hang on.
Merry Christmas. Season's greetings. Have you been good?
That's the Hobbit's input. So, thank you for joining us this evening. And I'll probably do a live stream in the new year, back in the office or wherever. You never know. Might even be up in the garage by then. Who knows? But, yeah. I'll keep you informed. Anyone who's interested in the Ben's Garage event next year, if it's still going to go ahead, if people are still interested, we'll have all that next year. I might put out a video before Christmas, or between Christmas and New Year, as a bit of a yearly recap type thing. And I think that's going to be it for now. So I'm going to sign off. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we'll catch you all in 2022. Bye for now.